Douglas London. He is the former CIA Counterterrorism Chief, and he joins us live now from Washington, D.C. Sir, thank you so much for being with us on the program today. I want to get your initial thoughts on this summit that took place in Kiev. It's very symbolic, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is a continuing reflection of the cohesion that the European Union and the West and all the industrial nations have with Ukraine, and I think it's important to continue to see those kind of reflections to assure the band of the willing supporting Ukraine, and also to send the message to Russia that this isn't going to end anytime soon for them.
Right, and we did hear Zelensky call for longer range weapons, particularly mentioning the key city of Bakhmut, to keep that city safe and away from the Russians. How much more military aid do you think Ukraine's allies need to give moving forward in this war?
The level of aid certainly is consistent with what the ultimate goals are. And if the ultimate goals are truly to roll back Russia, push Russia out of Ukraine, and also maybe send a message about what the consequences of for the Russians doing something as aggressive in the future, the level of aid has to be commensurate with what Ukraine needs to actually accomplish those goals.
Right, and we did see many of Ukraine's allies be reluctant in sending fighter jets in response to Zelensky's call for them to do so. Do you think that their reluctance will turn into regret down the road?
I think we've seen a cycle where weapons are tabled as a requirement, and the nations say, well, no, but no usually has been not now. I think if you look back over the cycle of this process from even before the Russian invasion in February to now, there's been no's to armored vehicles, no's to tanks, no's to Patriots, no's to HIMARS, and those have all gotten there eventually. So I think the West as a cohesive group are always testing the waters before making any sharp move. It's a little bit like the frog in the boiling pot of water to make sure they're turning up the temperature just enough incrementally to sort of gauge and normalize the reaction. But I'd like to imagine that ultimately weapons such as fighter aircraft, as we've seen with missiles and perhaps longer range missiles, will eventually make their way to Ukraine.
Right, and we do know that Ukraine eventually wants to be part of the European Union, but this summit fell short of kind of announcing that they're one step closer to becoming a member of the European Union. How crucial is it that Ukraine does indeed become part of the Union?
I think Ukraine's interest in becoming part of the European Union, and in turn also becoming part of NATO, has everything to do with the security guarantees it feels it requires to come to any terms with Russia. Russia has not shown the best history of abiding by agreements or interpreting them. After all, the 1995 agreement would have Ukraine's borders recognized by Russia, which Putin certainly doesn't do. So I think there is sort of the interest that the Ukrainians have to find something, proof, something sure, something certain, such as membership in these two big organizations, that they then could be more mindful of coming to some settled peace wherever and whatever that time frame turns out to be.
All right, Douglas London, he's the former CIA Counterterrorism Chief. Thank you so much for joining us here on the NewsHour.
Thanks for having me.